It's super fun to be an MC, but it's super fun to be an MC who gets paid to be an MC. Guys, I'm getting so passionate here that I had to stop and get some water. So everyone wants to know, how do I set my rates? And I'm gonna give you an answer that you may not be happy with, but setting your rates is totally determining on you. Why? And I know that that's not the answer you wanna hear, but it just depends. It depends on where you live. It depends on what country you live in. It depends on how experienced you are. It depends on so many different things. But in this PDF that I'm going to put over here, I'm gonna show you some prices and something that are gonna really help you set your rates, because it really does matter where you live and how experienced you are and the types of events that you've done. Which is why I say take this really serious. If this is something that you want to do and something that you want to get paid to do, take this part seriously. It's super fun to be an MC, but it's super fun to be an MC who gets paid to be an MC. So when you're setting your rates, you want to take a few things of consideration. Where you live, what your experience was, also how many languages you speak. And I would also say the type of events that you do and the type of events that you're going for, and different categories as well. It will vary. So sports sometimes doesn't always pay as much as large companies would. Or sometimes corporate events do pay a lot, and then let's say you want to do something with kids, you like kids in schools, maybe they're not going to pay so much. So you're going to have to play with all niches. You're going to have to figure out what you like, and when you know what you like, then go hard. That way you have so much stacked up in your portfolio that you'll be able to price yourself where you feel good and where you need to be. Now, if you're starting to work as an MC and you're starting to feel like you're being burnt out and you're not getting enough money, then you should probably increase your prices. If you have anger and animosity at any point about the pricing and about your work and what you feel you're worth, you probably should increase your prices. And maybe you're gonna have to say no to some people when you have to increase your price. But if you're not feeling good up on that stage and you're not feeling like you're getting paid what you should, I'm really sorry to say, but it will show up on stage. You are up on stage, so what you feel will show. And then there's some moments where your prices could be a little bit high, which sometimes happens to me because as an American, I do a lot of different things in the US and here in Europe. Now, there are prices that I have for the US and there are prices that I sometimes say okay to in Spain. And they're not anywhere close to how much I know I should be getting paid. But at the same time, it's experience, it's photos, it's videos, it's a lot of things that I can put under my resume. And so when I've set myself up to understand and realize and really truly ask myself, is it an asset to me to do this event? What do I get from it, and can I use something from it in my portfolio? Then I absolutely say yes. Let's just be honest here, big names sometimes can help increase your portfolio as well. So don't be afraid to do events for big named companies that you can then put in your portfolio that can help you raise your prices in the end. Look, everyone has their own path and all of this, as I said before, so you have to find what works for you. I really hope that this document helps you. And if you still have questions, you can send me an email and I can help go through that with you, or we could just go ahead and jump on a call and we could just tackle that face to face. But you have to really figure out what feels good. And don't be an MC who's just starting out and raising your prices to extortionist prices as someone who is a professional. Because then what happens is once they say yes to that and you go up there and you don't look professional, or maybe you don't present yourself in a very professional way, not always so good. You have to also be very clear about what your rate is and what is inside of that rate. I've done this enough to know now that whenever I am going to an event and I'm traveling and it's international, I'm always letting my agent know, or I'm always letting the event manager know that this is my price per day. I try not to do by the hour. In this space, we don't really do by the hour. Maybe you want to do by the hour, that's totally fine, it's up to you, but it's normally a day rate. There are some moments where as an MC you will have to travel, and I have my day rate that is my day rate, and it does not include the travel, and it does not include the hotel, and it does not include per diem. So I've learned this on the road with touring. You should really have the event paid for. There could be some places and spaces and ways for negotiation, but stand your ground when you know your price, stand your ground when you know your worth, and stand your ground when it comes to the basic necessities that you need. I had a friend who said yes to an MC event, but then didn't realize that that was just saying yes to the event itself, and she had to pay for her flights and her hotel, and at the end of the day, I think she got paid $100. That's not what we want to do here. So we also want to be clear within our rates what our rates represent, how many hours is in that day rate, what happens if it goes over the hours, and if all of those things, as I said earlier, hotel, flight, transportation, what of those things are going to be your cost and your expense, and what of that is going to be the client or the agency or whatever you have going on in this situation for yourself. Ask the questions. I know it's exciting when we get a gig and we just want to say yes, but we also have to be super, super clear, negotiate what you know you can accept, and be firm in your rates, charge your rate, be firm in your gut and what your gut is saying and what it wants to do. And know that there will be moments for you to raise your rates. So even if you're just starting off and you're not at a professional rate just yet, you can quickly get there. If you find so many little events in a year's worth, and you've done actually one event per month, that's 12 events in 1 year. That is awesome, and that is amazing. And by that next year, you can double your rates because you've worked these events and you have all this footage and you have all this stuff, and now your reel is on fire. You should be on fire. And so that energy is going to show within your rate. So don't be afraid to really charge yourself, charge your fee, understand what comes within the fee, ask those questions, be very blunt, be very clear. Business is business. And if you're conducting yourself and if you're representing yourself without an agent or an agency, be even more clear about who you are, what you are, and you also have to have the integrity to reflect that rate that you're asking for.